Hello fellow seekers, welcome back to my channel. This is Amanda Artemisa Forrester, rune reader, diviner, and polytheist mystic. I'm recording this on the day of the Sagittarius new moon, so I hope that everybody has a great new moon. Obviously it's also the week of Thanksgiving, so if you celebrate that, happy Thanksgiving. Here in America, I know it's earlier in the year for Canadians. Today I'm actually going to be doing a review of a new Norse Divination card deck. It's not technically an unboxing because I've already been using this for about a month, but I thought that people might like to see this. This is really awesome. It's called Yggdrasil Norse Divination cards, and this is made by an Icelandic artist and his daughter. I can't quite get my tongue around the way they roll their R's and H's, so I'm going to give this an attempt. I have taken a class in Old Norse, but I'm better at reading it than pronouncing it, so I'm sorry to anyone from a Nordic country if I completely mangle this. Haukur Hallórsson and his daughter are the ones who do this deck, and it is really interesting. It's not a tarot deck. The way that the cards are arranged are by the 9 worlds, which makes sense, right? So I actually have a few that I've already pulled out that I wanted to show you. So this one is Odin, obviously, and the way that you can tell which world that they're from is this little symbol down at the bottom, and he's got several different ones that he designed these himself, I believe. And so here from the book is what they look like. So like the one from Midgard, which would be us humans, the world here in the middle, it's a little Viking ship. The world of humans, and also the seeker's ego, depending on the what you're using as your. I've mostly been using 3 card pulls. I haven't actually worked through the entire book yet, but I was really excited to review these cards because they're just beautiful. And it's as much as I don't really resonate with most tarot, I really like the Herb Crafter's Tarot. That's another one that because I've been working so much with plant energy, that's one that I really, really liked. But I've been looking for one that was a little more Norse, even though I read runes, and that's something I really enjoy and speaks to me. I kind of wanted a card deck, too, that was Nordic. So I really wanted to find something that spoke to me. And I tried a few different ones, and some of them were really pretty, and some of them just didn't feel right. And I ended up giving one of them to a friend who's also kind of into the heathenry. But at first it had like the wings and the horns on the head, and that one, it's just not historically accurate, and that bothers me. It doesn't bother everyone. The horns on the helmets and the wings on the helmets was actually invented by Robert Wagner for the operas, but I can't get past that. It's just a personal aesthetic thing, and the decks were really pretty. It was really bright and colorful, and I like bright colors, so I thought I would like it, but it wasn't for me. I think it was meant for my friend, so I gave it to her instead. But this one is just really cool, and it's got the gods that you would expect, like Thor and Odin. I already showed you Odin. Check out the Skaldi card, the goddess of winter, her riding the polar bear. Isn't that intense? I just love that one. But it's got a lot of ones that you would have to actually be really into this culture to actually recognize, like the spirit of lightning, Rita. Ask the first human man. I'm probably going to mess up the pronunciation of this one too. Curvisor, the god of poetry. This was actually, his death actually created the mead of poetry, which long, complicated story arc, but, you know, anyway. these cards are just absolutely gorgeous, and I'm still learning to use these because these are not runes, and these are not regular tarot. This is its own unique system. So it's kind of one of those things that you just have to learn on its own and approach it as it is. So it's just got, oh, I'm just shifting through these and I just pulled this one out at random. Hell. We're entering the time of Scaldian Hell right now. That's actually really appropriate considering it's winter. We're going into Nifl here, the ice and fog and winter time. You know, the wild hunt is going to ride pretty soon. So just to show you, I think what I'll do is I'll draw a card at random and then actually read what it says, both about the world that it's from and then the actual card, because it's got an introduction. It's got an introduction for each world, and we're a little off center here. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. So I've never done one of these unboxing videos before or reading type things, so bear with me as I do this. I'm just really excited. These cards are gorgeous, and I'm trying to recenter here. And I really hope that this guy gets more attention, because I think their art is just beautiful, and I can just feel the power and the soul in these cards, and I would love for these to get more attention. I would just love that. Like I said, I'm still getting a lot of, I'm still kind of finding my sea legs, I guess would be the best way to put it. Especially because I haven't done the 9 worlds spread, which is what he suggests doing it with, which I'm going to have to learn. Which makes sense, right? 9 worlds. I'm not that great a self-shuffler. Alright, so we're just going to pull one card. It's the new moon. Maybe this will mean something. But I'm actually just doing this to show you guys. That's kind of appropriate. Erd, the present. This is one of the Norns, you guys. This is the fates. This is one of the fates. Alright, so let's see what that little symbol was, where they actually arranged her. Alfheimer is where they put her. That's interesting. I wouldn't have put her there because I believe she actually was at the roots of the Yggdrasil. The world of light elves, center above Midgarder, influence of the future and the conscious mind, works with the seeker, their dreams, and or what lies ahead. Alright, so I am going to look this up and see what she has to tell us. Alright, so what it says about Alfheim is it's the world of the Vanir, the light elves, but they're commonly referred to just as the elves. The whole dwarf elf thing, it's a little hard to actually tell the distinction between them when it comes to actual mythology, but for our purposes, we'll just say light elves. It's a magical place of light and hope, visions, and ambition. There are many kinds of elves, of the light and of the darkness, but the dwarf elves live in Svartalfheimr. Hope I said that right. Alfheim is placed directly between our world, Midgard, and Asgard, the world of the Aesir. It's close to our world. The reader can see that Midgard is placed directly between Alfheimer and Svartalfheimr, the light and the dark elves, the conscious mind and the subconscious. See, I really love the interpretation that these have. Vanir is a term for all the light elves, elves of mountains, waters, forests, plants, and so on. Vanir is also a term for the nature gods, but in polytheism, there's a lot of overlap between definitions like god and nymph and anything that's greater than human. There are many keenings about Alfheimer. Keening is a kind of poetic phase describing, I was just about to explain that, describing and deliberately codifying ideas, theories, and concepts in the problem of mythology. In some texts, Alfheimr seems to be Freyr's domain. Yet, I believe that he was considered the king of Alfheim, or at least had his main hall there. Alf, or elf, could come from the word albus, meaning white or foggy light. Vanir are seen as the second lineage of gods, the first one being the Aesir. There was a great war between Asgard and Alfheimr, between the Aesir and Vanir. There are many references to that war in various texts and poems. Sorry, it's on my phone. And at the end of this war, new relations and marriages were forged, interrelating the two permanently. Elves are seen as the gods of the common people. That's pretty common with any polytheism, where the nature gods, the nymphs, are usually more, obviously if you're a farmer, any god that has to do with nature, any spirit that's local is going to be like more important than, say, the Olympians in Greece. Not that you wouldn't worship Zeus, but like your local nymph of the water spring is a hell of a lot more important for your daily life, you see? I lost my place. They live alongside us, and when we lived more parallel with nature, our struggles are also their struggle. Icelandic folklore is among those where the elves are very near, even in the present days. They are also known by the name Holger folk, hidden people. Stories about them and their interactions with humans are told in folk stories alongside stories of trolls and giants, but the Holder folk are still present in Icelandic modern-day folklore, as they once were in Celtic areas and northern and central Europe. They are very similar to us, but more perfect, more magical, and also more dangerous and cunning, sometimes more vengeful. So this is what I was saying before when I was talking about speaking with trees. They're still individual spirits. And I am going to make a whole video on nature spirits and nymphs and all that. But they're still individual spirits, and you have to approach them as individuals, as people, not as one giant overtree, if that makes sense. In Iceland, they are still seen as guardians of nature. They appear to humans in dreams and through mediators, and they sometimes even find their way into public light, where they halt instructions that bring demolitions to their habitat. And I actually love that about Iceland. Iceland actually had official government talks with the elves that lived in a rock, in order to get their permission to build in that area. And there aren't any other modern countries that respect the land that way anymore, because we've broken the contract with nature, and it is a contract. And why do you look at the way Mother Nature is freaking out on us? And she has a right to be pissed. Gaia is pissed at us. That's a whole other thing. I'm gonna go back to this. But I love that about Iceland. And modern secular minded people will call that primitive, but I think that's amazing. I think that's fantastic. There's still a modern culture that respects the nature and the land. In mountains all over Europe, they live in rocks and cliffs. In northern and central Europe, variations of Vanir live in forest country. In wetlands, they live in the water. Alfheimr is embedded in and intertwined with our human world, as well as Asgarder. Okay, so that was actually just the introduction to this world, and now I'm going to actually read what it says for the card for Erd, the present. Like I said, this is one of the Norns. This is one of the fates. And so that's kind of interesting that we got that right now, because that's kind of a Sagittarius energy, I would say. It's not only a new moon right now, but Sagittarius is very much about living in the present, at least as far as I've known Sagittariuses. Urdur is one of the three sisters. I'm going to hold this up as I read it. Urdur is one of the three sisters, the Norns of destiny, who live by, it's one of those words, Urdurburner, I hope I said that right, under the roots of Yggdrasil, and take care of the maintenance of the tree of life, while weaving the web of the present for a human world and for humans. This card represents the present situation of the seeker's question and the present path of the seeker. It is important to pay close attention to the placement of the card in the spread and all the cards around her. Her path is the current thread of the seeker. This thread, much like the thread of the seeker, much like the thread of the future, is constantly influenced by the seeker's actions and influences. the influence of Erder, Vervani, and Skold, those are the names of the other two Norns, in the spread urges the seeker to take an existential look at their path, depending on which one of the sisters appears. In Erd's case, she holds the thread of the present situation and the recent past, of what has become, how it became so, and how it currently influences us. She reminds the seeker to take charge of the present time. The mindset of the seeker can influence the objective of any question at hand for the seeker. Okay, what's really interesting about this is I was just watching some other readings for the new moon, and all of them were emphasizing manifesting and how we need to watch our thoughts. And I was just pulling this just to show you how this deck works. I wasn't actually intending to do a reading for the new moon. I'm going to have to make sure I actually upload this tonight. Even though I'm going to work tonight. I'm going to have to make sure this actually uploads. And they were all emphasizing that that we need to watch our thoughts. Like I've got another video on here, words are spells. We need to actually watch our thoughts and what we're thinking about, because that's going to manifest in our life. Alright, so that's my review. Not overly long today. I just really wanted to share this because I'm super excited and it's just really awesome. So, we're going to show the book and the box again. And I will include a link. I will include a link down below to on Amazon. But these are super amazing. Yggdrasil Norse Divination cards. I love these. I'm still having a lot of learning to do, but they're beautiful. The art is incredibly detailed. I've found a lot of meaning in them. This guy's actually from Iceland, so I mean he's grown up in the culture, and I think that actually matters too. As for Westerners, for us in America, we're trying to kind of find our way when we've kind of grown up with this Protestant version. Protestants who convert to heathenry often have a little bit of a warped view. Like some of them will tend to treat Loki as the devil, and he's not. Trickster gods and polytheism have a very important purpose. So I think these cards coming from somebody who actually grew up in the culture, whether or not they grew up heathen, is actually pretty important. But anyway, these cards are awesome. Check them out if you're into that. If you are interested in rune readings, the next time I'm going to be reading runes, I will not be reading these cards yet. Not professionally. It's going to take me a while to get my sea legs with them. But if you're interested in a rune reading, next time I will be reading runes, at least in quote-unquote real life, will be at Mystic Beads and Earthware Sunday, December 1st, 1 to 5, Niles, Michigan. So, hope to see you there. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving.